All right, let's talk about something really important today. The hidden programming from our past. You know those invisible scripts that are like running our lives in the background and holding us back from the future we actually want?
So have you ever felt that? Like you're just fighting some invisible force that's holding you back from what you know you can achieve? It's that feeling where no matter how hard you push, it feels like something is just pulling you back. It's so frustrating, right? And I promise you, you are definitely not alone in feeling that.
Well, here's the thing. That feeling, it isn't just random. The source of that struggle might have been planted in you a long, long time ago. We're talking about way back in your upbringing, the mindsets and beliefs that were basically programmed into you, sometimes by the very people who were supposed to be helping you grow.
Okay, so let's get into our first section here, the invisible chains of childhood. We're going to look at how those early messages really do shape our reality. It all starts with these powerful and, honestly, often really contradictory messages that we just inherit without even realizing what's happening.
Just think about the totally mixed messages we get about something as simple as money. On one hand, you're told money is the most important thing for success. But then, on the other hand, you hear stuff like money is the root of all evil, or people with money are stingy, or they probably did something bad to get it. So, how are you supposed to go all in on pursuing success when you've been secretly programmed to kind of resent it? It's a total trap.
And that's the real problem. These mixed signals literally create a blueprint for failure. They end up choking what the source material calls your superstar energy, that incredible potential for greatness that you were born with. These conflicting messages, they're like weeds, just strangling that energy and creating this subconscious map that can actually lead you straight towards failure.
So, moving on to section 2, how your voice was silenced and the birth of self-doubt. Because you see, it wasn't just about getting mixed messages. It was also about how our own voices, our own ideas were actively shut down, creating a lifetime of self-doubt.
I want you to think back. Remember being a kid, just bursting with ideas? You try to share something and then you hear this. Shut up. Bam, it's a full stop. It's a wall. It tells you your voice doesn't matter.
Or how about this one? What do you know? See, that's not just a dismissal. That's a direct hit on your intelligence. It teaches you very early on that your thoughts have no value because you haven't lived enough.
And then there's the final blow. Have you ever seen this thing about life? That is the ultimate shutdown, isn't it? It uses this vague idea of life experience to just completely crush your curiosity and your confidence before they even have a chance to grow. And when you hear these things over and over and over, it has a devastating effect.
You know, there's actually a name for this whole process. It's called learned self-doubt. And it's that exact moment when the outside world's dismissal becomes your own inner voice. You don't even need other people to shut you down anymore because you've learned how to do it perfectly to yourself. You start questioning the very potential you were born with.
And that's why this quote is so important. At the end of the day, the real enemy isn't necessarily your parents or your teachers. The true enemy to your success is the doubt that got planted inside of you. Because it's true, right? What you don't really, truly believe in, well, it can never work for you.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problem. Now, how do we start to figure out our own journey? Let's move to section 3, the parable of your potential. This is a really powerful framework for understanding what actually happened to all that potential you started with.
This parable basically gives us 4 different paths. For some of us, our potential, our seed, was thrown on the sidewalk. It just got trampled by other people's opinions and their disbelief. For others, it landed among thorns, where it was choked by a limiting environment or a broken system. Then you've got the dry soil, where maybe your potential just withered away because there was no mentorship, no support, no nutrients to help it grow. And then, of course, there's the fertile ground, where a lucky few landed and their potential just flourished and got amazing results.
So I want you to really think about that for a second. Which path was your potential placed on? Which one of these sounds the most like your story? Because listen, understanding your starting point, that is the absolute first step to changing where you're headed.
All right, let's build on that idea. Section 4 is all about knowing your growth type. Are you a xerophyte or a hydrophyte? This is another amazing metaphor, but this one isn't just about figuring out what happened in the past. This is about strategy for the future. It helps you understand what you fundamentally need to thrive.
So it breaks down into 2 basic types. First, you've got the xerophyte. Think of a cactus, right? It has its own internal nutrients to survive. The analogy here is someone born with a built-in sustenance system, maybe a wealthy family, a powerful network, whatever. They don't really need external sources to survive. Then you have the hydrophyte. This is more like a water lily.
It needs to get external water and nutrients to live. It has to actively search for resources, for mentorship, for opportunities just to grow.
And listen up, because this right here is the critical warning. The absolute biggest mistake you can make is being a hydrophyte and trying to live like a xerophyte. It just won't work. You'll fail. You'll run out of nutrients because you simply weren't designed to be self-sustaining right from the get-go. So what do we do with all this? That brings us to our final and maybe most important section, finding your fertile ground. This is all about your responsibility to grow. It's time to shift from just understanding the past to taking full ownership of finding your own fertile ground right now. And I love this quote. It's such a powerful call to action. If you've figured out you're a hydrophyte, you just can't afford to be passive. When a premium opportunity comes along, a chance to get those nutrients you need, you have to seize it. You've got to be hungry, almost greedy for your own growth.
So what's the game plan? Here's how you find your nutrients. First, and this is huge, you have to stop trying to copy people with built-in advantages. Your path is different, and that's okay. Your job is to actively look for resources that will sponsor your growth. You need to be seeking out mentorship, knowledge, anything that can nurture you. And you have to learn to recognize opportunities, even when they seem small. Every single one is a potential source of water for your growth.
So let's end with this question right here. This isn't about your past anymore. It's all about your next step. So what nutrients are you going to seek out this week to grow? What's one resource, one conversation, one piece of knowledge that you will actively go after to nurture your potential? The power to find your own fertile ground, well, it's in your hands now. What are you going to do with it?